Thank you so much. So we have been going through 1.1, 1.2.13, and now 14. So on 13, I'll just quickly recap for recording purposes. It is being spoken about action should be for the pleasure of Krishna. The highest perfection of discharging our duties is when we act according to our occupation for the pleasure of Krishna. And now we are in chapter 1, Canto 1, chapter 2, text 14, where it is being. Oh, we have not read this yet, right?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right. Oh, I'm still explaining this one. Okay, so you've not missed anything. Okay. What was I saying before I was interrupted?
They were twice born, and knowledge in the wrong hands could be detrimental.
After that?
Prescribed duty to the highest perfection to please
Sorry?
Lord. To discharge the prescribed duty to please the Lord Krishna. Prabhu.
Yes. After that? Therefore concluded. Duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste divisions and order of life is so to please the personality of Godhead. Okay. Anyway. So we'll move on to the next verse. Aparna, go ahead.
Verse 1.2.14. Prabhuji, would you like to share the screen, please? Thank you. तस्मादिकेन मनसा भगवान् सत्वतां प्रतिः श्रोतव्यः कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येयः पूज्यस्य नित्यदा. Translation. Therefore, with one-pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees.
Tasmat ekena manasa. Ekena manasa means one-pointed attention, fully focused attention. Ekena manasa. Bhagavan Sattvam Patihi. The personality of Godhead. Pati means protector, the protector of the devotees. Shrotavya Kirtivyascha. So hearing the glories, Kirti, glorious activities of the Supreme Lord. Shrotavya Kirtivyascha Dheya Pujya Cha Nityada. Dheya means to remember, dhyan, to remember, puja, to worship constantly. So therefore, one with one-pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees. So if you do that, when will you study? When will you work? When will you take care of your family? How does that work? Can someone explain?
Prabhuji, may I try? Hare
Please.
Krishna. So we have to single focus. We have to do the things that we usually do in our daily lives in a single focused way, in surrender to Krishna. So whatever we are doing, if we Krishnaize that, like we attach that in service to Krishna, that means that we are still doing the material duties, and still we are thinking about Krishna, and that is serving our purpose. Hare Krishna Prabhu, I cannot hear you.
Anybody else wants to add to that?
Raghuji,
Yeah.
actually, our family, friends, or any business, or all is given by Krishna. So serving to that means serving to Krishna.
How?
All of this has been provided by Krishna.
So serving them is how is serving them serving Krishna?
Serving them with devotion.
Ah, that's different. Serving them for the pleasure of Krishna is pleasing to Krishna. With that consciousness has to be there.
Yes, right.
But just serving, that everybody else does.
Yes, yes, that definitely it is, right.
There is that aspect is very, very important. Aparna is saying that I'm seeming to be very distracted. Yes, I am. So today, since 4 a.m. in the morning, I have been traveling. I was in Chennai, did a very brain cracking activity there. Then now I'm in Coimbatore. And then once I reached my hotel, I had a speaking engagement. And then right after that, this, and then after this, another one. So my brain is not working. But in between, I'm trying to chant Hare Krishna. In between, I'm trying to remind myself this is for the pleasure of Krishna. It is all about, money matters, business, this, that. But still within that, finding a way to devotionalize it, either through gratitude or through something, so that this act doesn't becomes meaningless. Material activity, in short, is meaningless. Why? It dies with the body. When we die, everything else is over and we start from zero again. Spiritual activity does not die with the body. It continues. It's a continuum. There is no loss in the process. Thus, any activity, if we can spiritualize it, it becomes worthwhile, or else it's useless. And what to speak of when we can do that in this kind of consciousness, one pointed attention, with the whole idea to glorify Krishna, to remember Krishna, worship Krishna through our activities, right? That is of a whole different level. A pure devotee, just by their actions, just by their speech, just by their presence, people think of Krishna. People are reminded of Krishna's pastimes, qualities of Krishna, appreciation for a devotional aspect who is in the light of Krishna consciousness. All of these things just by being Krishna conscious. So a pure devotee is doing all of these, although they might be building a temple, they might be in a car, in an airplane, in a whatever else, but their activities are devotional. So for us, it is important that we try our little bit, slowly but surely, to somehow remind ourselves mechanically, even if so, about, am I thinking of Krishna? Do I have an opportunity to glorify the Lord? Something good or bad happens. Wow, Krishna is so kind that he manifested it in this way, so I can learn from it. Or Krishna is so kind, he, somehow protected me from making this mistake, right? Are we observant enough? Are we conscious enough to see God's hand in our daily lives? That is important. The sense of presence is very, very important. That we be present, we see things from the purview of glorifying Krishna. See, all of these points, one pointed attention. When Krishna is our attention, every activity can become an appreciation for Krishna's love in our life. For example, let's say somebody gets sick. Krishna is very kind. He's telling me to slow down, for example, right? Somebody has, a bad boss. Krishna is so kind. He's teaching me how not to be when I become a boss. I'm learning what not to do, how it feels like to be on the receiving end, so that when I go to that side, of the table, I can be a better boss. Right? Any situation, if we have one single focus and we have glorification of Krishna in mind, any situation becomes a glorious situation where we can see the positive side of it and thank Krishna for it, for manifesting in our life. And then Krishna's plan slowly reveals, and we can actually see Krishna's plan being revealed. Otherwise, Krishna's plan is going in one direction, we are going in another direction. Krishna has a plan, he's pushing us in one direction, we are like, no thank you, I'm going in this direction. Then we screw up, then we say, oh, what's happening, why am I not getting anywhere, even though I'm in Krishna consciousness, even though I'm chanting rounds and this and that, right? So observation is very important, focus is very important, and with that one pointed attention and focus, hearing is very important, shravanam, glorifying the Lord is very important, and getting in the habit of worshiping the Lord with our action, with our words, with our wealth, with our time, with everything we have is very important. That should become a practice, right? When Parikshit Maharaj, Srimad Bhagavatam, because of him we have Bhagavatam. So when Parikshit Maharaj was told you're going to die in 7 days, his first thought was, Krishna is so kind. He could have just killed me with a heart attack. No, he gave me 7 days to prepare for death, so I can remember him, prepare myself, hand over my kingdom to my son, make sure all my things are in order, and then I can listen to the Lord's pure devotees and go back home, back to God. And Krishna is so kind. People don't think like that, but a pure devotee does, because their full focus is glorification of Krishna. Krishna is all good. There is no question in the mind that Krishna does everything for the betterment of his devotee. But for us, we are not fully convinced. So for us, sometimes the thought comes, why Krishna? Why me? How could you do this to me? Don't you love me? Don't you care for me? I am chanting your rounds. I'm chanting your names. I'm doing all this. I'm eating prasadam. Don't you care about me? Materialists are better off than me. Why not me? Right? Because we are not fully convinced that what Krishna is doing, what I'm going through is best for me. That's why we have those doubts. Aparna?
Thank you, and we appreciate your energy.
Thank you for
Canto 1,
noticing.
observation. Canto 1, chapter 2, verse 15. Yantanodhyasena karma granthi nibandhanam Chindanti ko vedastasya ko na kuryat katharatyam. With sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work, karma, by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message?
With sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work. Do you remember what sword is being referred to? Few verses back.
Holy name, Prabhu?
No.
Intelligence?
Yes. Sorry, not intelligence.
Realized knowledge?
Yes. Thank you very much. With the sword of knowledge, you can cut through the knots of karma bandhana. So with the sword in hand, referring to that sword, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work, karma bandhana, by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Daivesha gunamai mama maya durataya mamevayam prapadante maya metam tarantite. So he's saying Daivesha gunamai, that this guna, the satya, God, my brain is not working. Somebody tell me, what are the 3 gunas? Goodness, passion, ignorance.
Rajaguna, Tamoguna,
Sattva,
and
Tamo,
Sattva.
Tamo, Rajo.
Right. Sattva Guna, Rajaguna, and Tamaguna. So, Daivi Esha Gunamai, these divine gunas of mine are impossible to overcome. But one who surrenders unto me, Mamevye Prapadyante, Maya Mentam Tarantite, can go over the ocean of Maya. Same thing Bhagavatam is speaking, that with the sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work. That means karma phala. That leads to more karma. That leads to more circumstances, birth after birth, birth after birth. So with the knowledge, spiritual knowledge, we cut off that karma phala by remembering the personality of God, just by remembering the Lord. What are we remembering? We're remembering his words, we're remembering his actions, we're remembering his leela, we're remembering his dham. That's what we're remembering. So what are we remembering? With one pointed focus, we're remembering Krishna's words. So when you're studying the scriptures, when we are doing Philosophy Friday, it is important that we take some action to remember what we studied, right? Otherwise, it becomes a ritual. Acha, every Friday, Prabhuji comes, he says something, we hear something, and we are done. Then he asks questions, and everybody keeps their mouth shut, right? Doesn't work like that. It is important, now that we are matured, we have finished Bhagavad Gita, we have done our undergraduates, now we're in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's important that we focus on remembering these things and, connecting the dots. As Srimad Bhagavatam is speaking, we connect back to Bhagavad Gita. We connect back to what we heard in a certain lecture, a certain Philosophy Friday, and certain thing. So that way, as we think more and more, we observe our minds, we start to remember it. But this cooking process is very important, right? If you don't think about what you heard, you will not remember it. Neera Mataji is a teacher for decades and decades. Maybe she can correct me if I'm wrong, but unless you are meditating on what you heard, you're analyzing, you're contemplating how to apply it, right? You're letting it stay in your mind, you will not remember it. It will just be another fleeting thought that just came in and it went away, right? So we must focus on remembering. And when we focus on remembering, just by remembering the Supreme Lord, our karma gets burnt away. Draupadi, what did she do? She remembered Krishna. Krishna, please help. That's what we need to remember. Not at the time of help only. Then what happens? We have a wonderful friend named Harish, Yogesh's dear friend. Harish, when he was new to Krishna consciousness, he came and he was talking to my best friend, Yashodanandana. And he was like, oh, I remember Krishna when I'm in trouble. And Yashodanandana, laughingly, jokingly said, oh, well, Krishna will keep giving you trouble because he likes to be remembered. So if that's how you remember, then he'll keep sending you troubles. And that was a wake-up call for him. And he's like, oh, wow, I never thought of it like that. Maybe I should remember Krishna even when I'm not in trouble. Right? So make it a habit to make Krishna part of our life. He's our family member. I mean, he's a head of our family. So just like we think about the well-being of our parents, of our siblings, of our kids, of our spouses, it is important that we think about Krishna, about what is pleasing to him, what to cook for him, what to gift him, how to glorify him, how to remember his beautiful pastimes, how to be inspired by those pastimes, right? How to share his beautiful presence with other people, right? Friends who might not know about him. So that is the form of remembrance. When we do that, in that process, we get purified. And our binding knots of reactionary work, reactions from past lifetimes of good and bad karma, vaporize. That's the idea here. So thus, we must pay attention. This is why we pay attention, because by remembering the holy name, by remembering Krishna's words from Bhagavad Gita, by remembering Krishna's holy dham, we are to Vrindavan, by remembering Govardhan, by remembering Krishna's deity, by remembering anything about Krishna, we are getting freed from reactionary work. Karma is burning. Can somebody give an example of another, just like I gave Draupadi's example? Can somebody share another example of some devotee who, by remembering Krishna, got benefited?
Ajay Prabhu.
Very good. Ajamil, yes. Aparna?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj. Wow, yes. Prahlad Maharaj was thrown from the mountain. He was tried to be burned. All he did was think of Krishna. Every situation, he would be like, oh, Krishna's so kind. Oh, snakes. Oh, these are Balaram's friends. Oh, they're my uncles. Right? Everywhere he would just remember Krishna. By remembering Krishna, he was untouched. No one could do anything to him because he was on constantly in remembrance mode. Ajamil, he married a prostitute. He had children with her. He, to appease her, he became a robber, a dacoit, looting people. At the age of 80, he had a child, and he named the child Narayan. And just by remembering the child's name, calling out Narayan, the Yamudutas had to back off. The Yamudutas couldn't touch him because he called out Narayan, and guess what? The Vishnudutas came all the way from Vaikuntha Loka. Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. Very beautiful, very powerful. They're like, you can't touch him. He said Lord Narayan's name. He remembered the Lord. You can't touch him, not your jurisdiction. Who said we can't touch him? No, you can't. And the demigod of death, he personally came and he said, yes, they're right. Sorry, I didn't train you well. Yamaraj told the Yamadutas, sorry, I didn't train you well. You should understand when there is Tulsi Mala on the neck, when there is Tilak on the head, or there's holy name in the mouth, you have no jurisdiction over there. The devotees of Krishna, we have no jurisdiction. They are Vishnuduta's jurisdiction. So back off. Right? So by remembering the Supreme Lord, one can get incredibly benefited. Incredible burning of karma. Incredible strength comes. Incredible, bravery comes to face our difficulties just by remembering Krishna, his promise, his pastimes, his words of affirmation in the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Pradeep Prabhu?
Probably even by Tulsi Mala and Tilak as well.
Even what?
Even by Tulsi Mala and Tilak.
Yes. If you wear Tulsi Mala, Yamadutas won't touch you.
Means you go back to Vaikuntha even by Tulsi Mala and
You
Tilak.
might not go back to Vaikuntha, but Yamadutas won't touch you. That means you're not going to hell. You might take another birth as a human being. You might be born again on this planet or another universe, and another yuga perhaps, but you will definitely not go to hell. You will not take a lower birth, lower species, because Tulsi is touching you.
Okay, good.
That's why as devotees, we very carefully try to always hold on to Tulsi in the body, because who knows when death will come. And it's important that somehow she's there on the body. Sometimes Tulsi Mala gets broken. So we make sure that we have extra Tulsi Malas. In case one gets broken, immediately we take a shower and we wear the next one. That it's never away from our body. Yes, Prayash Prabhu.
So I always wondered, like in material world, we like all the businesses, all the systems run on money, right? So somebody works and somebody pays the money, right? And the whole universe runs on systems, right? So there are demigods and they are in charge of different segments, different departments, right? And there are a lot of demigods, and that's how the system is working, right? And they are in the higher spiritual realm, let's say Swarga Loka, where they are burning their karma. So my question is like, what currency does the system go? Is it love? Is it like good karma? Like how does the system work?
First of all, you don't burn. I'm not sure what your question is. Can you reiterate your
My,
question?
my question is like, what currency does the universal system work on? Like in material
Karma.
world, it's money.
Karma and time.
Can you explain, Prabhu?
So, like you said, when you go to the heavenly planets, right, you're burning your karma. When you're in human form, you're earning karma and burning karma both. In every other place, you're burning karma. So, according to your karma, either you are born as a demigod or an animal or a yaksha or a yavana or whatever else, right? So, based on the karma, we are going in different systems. The battery that's powering all of that is Karanadakshaya Vishnu. So the gravity, the sun, everything is moving in perfect order. All the planets are in perfect order. All the systems are functioning. That is being overseen by Vishnu. But what, where we are going up and down, round and round through samsara, that is being defined by karma. How we use our time, what we do, what desires we harbor, what actions we perform, that leads to our reaction, that leads to our destiny. Does it answer your
So,
question?
Prabhu, yes, Prabhu, I have a following question. So basically, when you say karma, and let's say if you do really good karma and you become the next Indra, right? And then you are burning karma for being Indra because you are in the Swarga Loka, and then you have done so much good karma that you are burning karma, right? So is it like does the system work on burning karma or like gaining good karma, or like how does the system work
The
then?
system,
Like,
the system works. So the system is being designed and it's self-automated based on karma. So to become Indra, you have to do, what is that, 1,000 Ashwamedh Yajnas? Yeah. So every time somebody comes close to doing multiple Ashwamedh Yajnas, Indra comes and causes trouble because he's very insecure about his position. That, oh God, is this going to be the next Indra? Is he going to take over? So constantly in Srimad Bhagavatam will read how many times Indra makes things very difficult for people who are doing multiple Ashwamedh Yajnas, because that's the currency. You do that karma and you can qualify to be Indra. So that's what's fueling the whole thing. It's your activities, how you use your time, what actions you take that lead to reactions, that leads to your next birth, what yoni you're born in, and accordingly you have certain resources and tools available to you based on the yoni you have. A snake doesn't have legs, a dog have legs, and humans have hands, legs, everything. We can use everything. We can walk on our hands. We can do all kinds of things. So depending on what yoni we are born in, we have that level of freedom, that level of resource. Demigods can be present in one place and next moment they're in another planet. They can do interplanetary travel like Narad Muni. They have even more freedom. So depending on their karma, they have earned it. And that's where everything is running around. Now, again, governing all of that is Vishnu. Just like the body.
I
If you think about the human body, what is it running on?
energy ATP.
It's running on the prana, the vayu, prana
Achha,
vayu,
achha, achha.
the breathing, right? If there's no air, ATP won't do anything.
Right.
So as we are breathing in, breathing out, the pran vayu is keeping things flowing. The heart is beating, the lungs are pumping. But what is it being governed by? Super soul, Paramatma. We are given a number of breaths. When the breaths are over, life is over. Whether you're 26 years old, whether you're 86 years old or 106 years old, doesn't matter, right? We're all given a number of breaths. When the breaths are over, super soul is like, done. This body shuts down. Nothing works. Same with the universe also has a timeline. Brahma lives for 100 years. 1,000 yoga cycle one day, 1,000 yoga cycle one night. So multiply that, it's 311 trillion, 40 billion years. That's Brahma's lifespan. After that, complete annihilation. Lord Shiva takes over. Lord Brahma again creates. Lord Vishnu maintains. So that's how this is running. So there is supervisor who are maintaining things, and there is karma and time that is enabling the movement of things.
I somewhat understand. But I'll just reiterate the question in a way that like I can I know communicate it better. So Indra, let's say there is a guy who does 1,000 asanas yagyas to do enough good karma to become Indra, right? And by being Indra, he's burning karma. So why is Indra working? Is because of to like pleasing to Krishna or like to
No,
do the
no, no, no.
system?
It's a system. Pleasing Krishna is only Vaishnavas. And Vaishnavas are that's why
Okay.
considered higher than demigods. Vaishnavas are higher than Devatas because Vaishnavas are a tall order. They're working for the pleasure of Krishna, whereas demigods are working for sense gratification. Why do you want to be Indra?
Uh,
Because when you become
got it.
Indra, you get to have Urvashi, Medaka at your disposal. You can have your Somras, you can have your Parijata tree, you can have girls dancing all day long. You can enjoy sex for 6 months at a stretch. You can, sleep for a whole year if you want to. Doesn't matter. There is tremendous amount of sense gratification that you can enjoy being a devata.
Got it. Got it. Now that answers the question. So I was like kind of curious, like how, like why are they
Just because you're
pursuing to
devata
become
doesn't
a
mean you're a devotee.
got it. That becomes very clear from the Govardhan Leela, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you for explaining.
Sure. Okay. Any other
And
questions?
I have another question, Prabhu.
Yes.
So like you have a pretty busy schedule, right? And I have seen you do 16 rounds every single day, right? Now, like, how do you remember? Like, is it ever happens that you don't remember if you have done your mala, or like, how do you plan in your schedule?
I mean, there are chanting beads and counting beads. Counting beads keep track of the number of rounds you've
No, no,
done.
I mean, I'm asking because I cannot remember if I have done my mala today or not.
Um, yeah, I don't know how to answer that question. Chant more, and you'll be able to remember.
Yeah, yeah, I'm doing it now.
Chant more, and you'll have more focus. You'll have better memory. Maintain celibacy, and you will have better memory. You can remember things better, manage things better. It gives you a lot more extra human powers.
Thank you, Prabhu. Will do.
Okay. Anything else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I have a question that you mentioned that we all are assigned a number of breaths. So that is based on our past karma, or it is same for
Yes.
every individual?
No. It is based on our past karma.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
That's why big yogis, they learn pranayam. Why? Because pranayam helps you slow down your breathing. When you slow down your breathing, it could actually expand your life. That's why many yogis can live for 100, 200, 300, 400 years because they can slow down their breathing. Even if they have X number of breaths, whatever the lifespan might be, they can expand that time because, they can breathe slowly. And, the slower you breathe, the longer you live. Even if you see animals, a dog, how long does a dog live? You see the way the dog breathes, right? Breathes fast. You see a tortoise, how long does a tortoise live? 100, 200, 300 years. See how a tortoise breathes. Very slow. Very slow. So you'll see that in animals also. The slower you breathe, the longer you live. The faster you breathe, the less lifespan you have. So that's that.
Got it, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Most welcome. Yeah. Anything else? Should I move on? All right. Go ahead, Aparna.
1.2.16 तुष्रो श्रद्धा धनस्य वासुदेवा कथा रुचिः स्यान्महन् सेवया विप्रः Punyatirtha Nisevana. O twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all the vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva.
This is a verse worth memorizing. It's a very powerful verse. Shushrushu Shraddhadasya. So one who's engaged in hearing with care and attention, with Shraddha. Basically, Shrushru means hearing with Shraddha, with care and attention. And you carefully listen. Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. Right? Ruchi means a taste develops for Katha about Vasudeva, about Krishna Katha. Initially, it's like boring. Why am I talking about this? Oh God, when will this end? When we do college programs, most students are waiting for the prasadam to happen. That's why they come to the programs. There's no Katha Ruchi. But some have, some don't. But eventually, after eating prasadam, hearing, little bit of attention, little bit of attention, and then Vasudeva Katha Ruchi happens, right? So by hearing, little bit of attention, little bit of mercy, and slowly, we get taste for Krishna Katha. By serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. Sayan Mahat Sevaya Vipra. So, Mahat Seva is serving those who are devotees of Krishna. And by doing so, one gains affinity for hearing the message of Vasudeva. So, by serving the devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the message of Vasudeva. So, if you're not being able to pay attention to chanting, that means chanting means you chant and you hear the holy name, right? So, if you're not able to pay attention to hearing, if you're not able to pay attention to listening to Krishna Katha, serve devotees. And you will see, by serving devotees who are free from vice, not devotees like, me, but devotees meaning actual devotees who are actually on the pure devotional platform, who are, great personalities, people like, my mentor, my Guru Maharaj, the worshipable personalities. When you serve them, natural attraction for Krishna Katha comes. And before you know, you are, relishing Krishna Katha, and Krishna is giving you wonderful services, and you're moving in Krishna's path, and you're enjoying the whole process. It doesn't feel boring. It doesn't feel like somebody's pressuring you. You just enjoy and you flow, you flow and you flow. And that comes when you serve. Sayan Mahat Sevaya Vipra. Punya Tirtha Nishevandar. Punya Tirtha. That means such a person, Tirtha we say what? Holy Dham, right? So Punya Tirtha means one, so a devotee, a pure devotee of the Lord is like a Tirtha himself. In other words, he's free from all vice, free from all negative qualities, lust, greed, envy, pride, illusion. And another form, he is actually, Vrindavan walking, right? A personality who is carrying Vrindavan in the heart, who's having Krishna in his beautiful altar. Mama Mana Mandire, the Mandir of the heart. Mana Mandir, the heart, Krishna is sitting there. Such a pure devotee. When you serve such a person, natural attraction for Krishna comes. Now, that doesn't mean we serve only pure devotees. We serve devotees in general. And to the degree they're pure, to that degree, we are also getting the benefit. But what's more important is not us to judge them. Oh, here's a pure devotee. Here is a less pure devotee. Or here is a really futile devotee. We don't judge. More important is Krishna watching that we are serving devotees with sincerity, with love, with respect. And Krishna gives natural attraction for his holy name, natural attraction for Krishna Katha. So if we have attraction for Krishna, the bhakti path becomes a lot easier. In fact, it becomes addictive. And we can move like, how you oil a machine and the machine moves much more smoothly, doesn't make the creaking noises. So same way, when we serve Vaishnavas, our bhakti process moves very beautifully. without making creaking noises. Any question? Okay. Aparna?
1.2.17 Rinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantaha Stohya Bhadrani Vidhonati Suhrit Satam. Translation. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul, in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted.
Another verse to be memorized, if you can. This is very much utilized by Srila Prabhupada many times. Shunata Sakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Riddhadohya Bhadrani Vidunoti Shrodit Satam. Swakatha Krishna. Again, Katha. We are focused today on Krishna Katha. So, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma super soul in everyone's heart and the benefactor of truthful devotees, cleanses desires for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages. So, as we keep moving in Krishna consciousness, we will notice things that we were attached to: material music, material things like cars and whatnot, hobbies that were materialistic. We don't feel that level of attraction for them anymore, right? The more we get attached to Krishna Katha, the more we get detached from Maya. So that's the natural outcome. So one who has the eagerness or develop the urge to hear Krishna Katha, for such people, Krishna slowly cleanses the desire for material enjoyment. So if you want to enjoy material things, do not become Krishna conscious. This is one thing I have noticed. Not saying I'm very elevated or anything like that. Even somebody fallen like myself, I've had the great fortune of visiting many countries, going to many places. I stay in nice hotels and things like that by Krishna's mercy. End of the day, many people say, "Oh, you're going here. You should try this food. You should do this. You should go there. You should," and I have zero, urge for all of those things. Like I'm in Coimbatore, somebody told me on the phone, "You must visit Kodaikannan and you should visit this place and that place. Oh, it's so beautiful." I've been to Coimbatore thrice. I come here, I stay in the same hotel, I go speak at the same university, and I go back. And there is no urge for other things. But like when I was in, what is that place called in Kerala? Kovalam Beach. And I heard from a mentee of mine that there's a temple around there. And I asked him, what temple? And he said, please somebody remind me the name. Ananta Padmanabha Swami temple, right? Somehow or other, the urge was so strong. I have to see him and he has to see me. Somehow we have to make it work. So, and somehow it happened. Somebody wanted my consultation. I said, I'm going to talk to you only if you take me to the temple. He said, happily. And we went there. It was crowded. I was going to come back without seeing the Lord. And then as we are coming out of the temple, a police comes in. Turns out the gentleman who wanted my consultation, he was close childhood friends with that person. And they're not met for 20 years. And the police was like, oh my God, and he's so happy. And he's in charge of the temple. So guess what? Cuts through the whole line, takes us to the front of the line, right in front of the Lord, and drops me there. And I'm seeing Padmanabh Swami, and I'm just in tears and ecstasy. And just paying my obeisances to the three parts, the three doors You see the Lord lying down with his beautiful golden hand. You see his navel. Then you see his lotus feet. Massive, massive gold deity, the richest temple in the world. They found like trainloads of golds and diamonds from 2 doors. The third door is yet to be opened. So point is, somehow or other, the urge was so strong for not the Kovalam beach, but to go to see the Lord. And the Lord was present and he saw I'm leaving. Somehow he manifested an arrangement that, he could see me and I could see him. So if this can be for a, fallen devotee like myself, imagine for pure devotees how it must be like. So that's what Srimad Bhagavatam is saying, that one who was even has the urge to hear about Krishna Katha, Krishna brings in that taste for Krishna related things and distaste for material things, right? By the way, it's not something you will regret. It is something wonderful, because material things, when you develop a taste for it, eventually you need more rush, like drugs or bungee jumping, right? You jump from one place, you want to jump from a taller building, you want to do more, you need more rush. Drugs also, more dosage, more strength, more intensity. But Krishna consciousness, without harming you, more and more and more and more, and it just, there is no end to it, and it is enjoyable, and you grow, and you're untouched by all the bad things that material life has to offer. Those are there, but you're untouched by it, because in your heart there's Krishna Kirtan happening, right? In your heart, you're just, it's Vrindavan. You don't have to go to Vrindavan. Your heart is Vrindavan. So Krishna Leela is happening in your heart. So you're in ecstasy all the time, right? So that's the beauty of being attached to Krishna and being, developing taste for Krishna Katha, that Krishna detaches us from material things and gives us a taste for his holy name, gives us a taste for spirituality. So Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart. So you don't have to try. You don't have to make extraneous efforts to go to the Himalayas and meditate and all that. Krishna will cleanse it for you if you show a little eagerness for hearing his katha about him. So cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his message, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Yes, Yogesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just one question. From your from your experience in Kerala, or similar experiences that others might have had, right? So, listening to incidences like these, or even being present in such incidences, one might yearn for the reciprocation from the Lord, right?
Mhm.
So it it so it I, there are two ways to look at it. Either it builds envy or it builds sadness, um, thinking that we are not qualified enough to be there. So for a person like that, how do we manage those emotions?
You think I'm qualified?
No,
No.
Prabhuji, I'm just generally asking.
Yeah.
How
So
do we
it's not
manage this?
qualification, Prabhu. The way to think about it is like, wow, this is accessible to me. It's not just Bhagavatam saying from, 5,000-10,000 years ago. This is happening now. That means I have hope. It's just another person who's experiencing joy in Krishna consciousness, experiencing, miraculous reciprocation. So can I. So, my dear Krishna, allow me to be a sincere devotee. Allow me to have an eagerness for hearing your katha, so that you can clean my heart from material attachment. Right? Have conversations with Krishna. Talk to Krishna in your heart of hearts. Right? Let it inspire you and discourage you. Of course. And we can come, you might feel certain way, but right track your thought. See what Bhagavatam is saying. For the non-cheating devotee, or what does it say? Truthful devotee, right? Benefactor of the truthful devotee. So are we truthful devotees or are we deceptive devotees? Are we in bhakti because we want something, or are we in bhakti because we want to please Krishna? We should ask that question. And then, things will be clear. Oh, you know what? I want to be more sincere. I want to be causeless. And ye yathama prapadyante tam save bhajami ham. You surrender to Krishna, Krishna reciprocates accordingly. It will happen. So it's important that we find inspiration wherever we can get.
Understood, Prabhuji. Understood.
Okay, so something in the chat. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. See you next Friday. Hari Bol.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.